Was it still doing the same ABS thing?
Worse. Like now it's getting like locked off, and it's pulling the tire.
Okay.
Or the steering.
So your brake pads are not bad. You still got quite a bit of meat left on them. But you see how dry all this stuff is?
Yeah.
How none of it wants to slide freely?
Yeah.
Just that alone could cause your ABS issues. Because it squeezes on your brakes and then it doesn't want to release freely.
Wait.
So your brake pads, you got plenty of meat left on them, but everything in here is like super dry and doesn't really want to move very well. So even that alone could cause that jittering in your ABS. When you come to a stop, what it's doing is it's compressing, and then when it gets, you know, slow to a stop, one side or the other could be not releasing properly, and then it senses that wheel isn't moving at the same speed as the other side. So the ABS jitters to try to relieve some of that pressure, and then it gives you those issues.
So that could possibly be.
Well, we're gonna take both sides, make sure your slide pins are free and everything. We're gonna just take both sides and lube everything up and put it all back together, grease it, make it nice and, you know, working properly.
Sounds
but
good.
if it persists, sometimes it happens from like warped rotors or some other issues, but we're at least going here. Let me listen. Yep. So.
What is that?
You hear how it's touching and not touching and touching and not touching?
Yeah.
That's a warped rotor. It's just like, feel this back brake pad here. It's supposed to slide freely on there. It's your pads are clearly, and then if we take these out, these are your slide pins, and they do have a little grease. I have seen them totally seized, but that one's not terrible. Oops. Yeah, we'll just put it there. That's fine. Yeah, we're gonna have to re-grease those too. Yeah, we're gonna just do both sides, get everything working again. Yeah, I got one at Best Buy.
I don't have to order it on Amazon?
No, we can go right to Best Buy and go get it.
Alright.
I think it was like 470 something out the door or something.
470, man. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Okay, so that is the top one. Alright, so we're gonna clean these off.
What does that do?
This is all brake dust that's on here, and this is the surface that your pad slides back and forth on. So we're gonna clean it off, then put some grease on there so the pad will actually slide back and forth. And then when you have issues with one side pulling when you're braking, that's usually like a sticky caliper or sticky pads. It's not releasing, or one side is possibly squeezing harder than the other because it's not like lubed and moving.
It's probably this one. Because every so often when I brake, that's what happens. I feel it pulling.
Alright, and then if we really want to get at it, which I don't think we need to, it doesn't really do anything to clean that, but what we want to see is when we put the pads on, we want them to be able to move a little bit. We don't want them to be stuck. So even on brand new brake pads, they don't always come like made the right size. So sometimes you actually have to grind down the ears a little bit because they squeeze in there too hard.
Like chalky.
And it's all brake dust. So, yeah, see how it's we're trying to put it in there and it's just too tight to really move freely.
Yeah.
We're gonna grind down the ears on it.
That probably is the problem, right? If it's doing that.
Yeah, these have to be free floating in there, or they won't like close and release how they're supposed to. So if we look on these pads, we can see most of the wear is on these edges here, where it's been like kind of trying to slide and wearing away. So we're just gonna narrow it down a little bit. Now it's already better in there, but it's not as good as I would like to see. So we're gonna keep going a little bit. Does it accelerate any better?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, definitely noticed that too.
the whole thing.
I think the gas mileage, like I already drove like 30 miles and it,
Yeah.
on the tank you can tell it.
Yeah, because now you're getting your actual power out of your cylinders.
Yeah.
You're not trying to just squirt fuel lagging behind. That'll work.
That'll work.
Yep, that'll work. Just a little more off the edges. So now we're gonna take one of these packets here.
Confused on how. Oh, so that compresses the brake pads?
Yeah, these come out. They squeeze together against the rotor,
Now I see.
and then these.
So the brake pads are supposed to be kind of resting on the rotor.
Yeah, well, when it's spinning around, there's really no like pressure on them. Just driving around, they're just kind of floating in here.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's just the tiniest little gap where they're just kind of doing their thing.
And then the brakes.
But when they squeeze, then they
Ah.
squeeze together. Yeah. So that's how your brakes work.
Oh yeah, you can tell that definitely probably made a difference. Because it probably was getting stuck on there, right?
Oh, it definitely was.
When I was at the very end.
Yeah, because they were super seized in there.
Because they weren't able to move, right?
They were not moving back and forth freely at all. So now it's good that you have a little bit of grease on here. Sometimes these are just completely dried and seized in there and take a lot of effort to get out. So we're gonna take the old grease, which is probably old and waterlogged and just garbage, and then just replace it with fresh grease on the pins and also on the edges of the ears and stuff. And then also there's two circles you'll see here and then in here, any place where metal on metal touches, you want to put just a little bit of grease, because then you don't get the squeaking when the metal touches. You get parts like the back of this pad here touching all that. You can see how smooth and shiny that is where it's been like on there.
Yeah.
So
Dang.
if it's got enough pressure to stop your car, it's got enough pressure to squeak.
I thought it was gonna come in like a tube or something.
They sometimes do. I got big old jars of this stuff, but it's in my storage unit and it's just quicker to run down the street to the parts store. And then spin that, make sure that moves back and forth nicely. Nope. And then instead of just slathering it on here, I like to slather it on this side where I can just put it just on where it's going to contact. And then I don't just waste a bunch in the middle where it's not going to do anything. So that way when you squeeze it, it doesn't want to squeak. Oh, we almost forgot the most important thing. Brake pad, lube on here.
You almost made a rookie mistake. As we're talking about rookie mistakes.
I'm talking to you. All right, there you go. See, now it's actually floating. We should be able to spin it freely. So now let's go do the other side.
All right.
This is Saucy Seth behind the scenes. No, so I just left it where it's gonna be. So just jack it up.
Jack it up.
Yep, just up and down. A little more. Oh, that's. Did I notice something?
Yeah. Oh.
Your wheel bearing is fucked.
Really? Yeah, that's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. That you're gonna. This wheel's gonna fall off. Like your wheel bearing is done.
That's not good.
No,
I
this.
know that's not. I
this,
saw that too, bro.
This is the source of all of your issues right here.
I saw that too, bro. That's not good.
Okay, so we have a little bit more than a wheel bearing to do. So
Wait, show the video.
this,
Yeah, that's not supposed to move like that.
we're doing your wheel. Like we can't not. Like you're not gonna make it to Alaska
That's crazy.
on that.
I saw that too when I jacked it up. I was like, the wheel's not supposed to move like that.
So, all right. Well, we're doing your wheel bearing then. Yep, that's gonna be a lot of your ABS issues with the vibration. It fucks with the tone ring, and then that's also gonna be your issue with when you brake and it wants to go one way.
Yeah.
And it's all that's basically just your entire issue right there.
Wow.
So
Well,
we're gonna do a wheel bearing today.
let's do I was not expecting that.
All right, so we'll take that and make sure you seat this all the way onto these,
All right.
and then zip it off.
So I have to. All right, is it on there?
Yep. Yeah, you're not gonna make it to Alaska on that bearing. You might not even make it to like North Dakota.
I'm glad we caught that, because if I didn't meet y'all, dude, I would have
Yeah.
never knew that. I would've-
You might have ended up accidentally calling me anyway for a tow.
Right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right, now we'll just take the tire off. We'll put it under there behind, so that way if the jack were to fall, it doesn't just drop.
Best type of tripod right there.
All right, so we got the caliper and caliper bracket off. That is trash.
It's not good.
Not good. So now we gotta get this cap off and we can see what's going on under there.
Is there a bunch of grease in there?
I mean, one would hope. Probably the only thing that's saved you so far. There we go. Alright, so this cap we're gonna reuse. It's the end cap for here. And ooh, you see this already? So we're gonna have a nut and everything under here, but what we have is a cotter pin which holds on top of the nut, and this is supposed to prevent it from coming loose and unscrewing if it were to come loose. And then these are the best things to just pull the cotter pin out with. Super easy like that. And then we can take this cap off. That's just the lock cap. See, it locks on here, and then the cotter pin's supposed to go through these tabs, so it can't unscrew, but clearly it
It didn't.
loosey-goosey in there.
Yeah.
I should not be able to just unscrew this
By hand.
by hand.
That's insane, bro. So that's the bearing.
Yep, that's the outer bearing. Hold on, put this back on here. This is the outer bearing. This is the little cover, but holy crap. That, I mean, I'll show you on the new bearing, but that,
It's not supposed to move like that.
no, it's supposed to be a little bit, it's supposed to be like that much in there. Not all of that. That is, these walls are touching right here. Like that's garbage. We're putting new ones in there for sure. Okay. This is the hub. And then that seal that we bought, that goes right in here. You can see it's not great.
So, what are you doing, man?
Adjust the camera angle. All right. This one is okay. All right, we're gonna clean all this. I'm not worried about it right now. But what we're doing right now is we're going from the back side here, and we're gonna pound out the old seal and the old bearing in there. So you can see how the bearing sits in there, and then the seal behind it. Stella, this is not delicious. I promise you, this is not delicious. So that's the old inner bearing.
Yeah.
Which is significantly. Huh. Okay. So, new outer race for the outer bearing, and a socket that is basically the same size. You never want to smack a bearing in on the inner race. You'll just completely destroy the whole thing. But these are tapered roller bearings, like 2-part bearings. So this isn't like a sealed ball bearing where you have that issue. Sometimes they're a little goofy to start, but once you get them started, they go straight down in there. You see how this is just slightly smaller?
Yeah.
So we can get it all the way down in there without getting this thing stuck. And now it changes noises a little bit once it reaches the bottom. So now you have a new, clean, fresh, not this garbage inner race in there.
Wow.
So much better.
Wait, doesn't another one go in there too?
Yeah, this part.
Oh, that.
Yep.
And that spins around it.
Yep. That spins around there. You have this smaller one on the outside, and then the other one on the inside. And
so that's the outer.
Yep, this is the outer. And it was so loose, it was just kind of like goofing off and not doing what it was supposed to in there. So, I've started cleaning the tone ring a little bit.
Yeah. We both, well, I started jacking it up, and then we saw the wheel kind of move, and we're like, that's not supposed to be.
Nope, it's not.
So now you'll actually get a nice, good quality signal out of it. When this thing is covered in grease and covered in filth and has little metal shavings and just dumb stuff on it, it can mess with the signal and it can't accurately tell what's going on here.
That probably explains too why sometimes my odometer readings, like sometimes the speedometer jumps up. Like
Your speedometer is actually running off a separate thing on the transmission. There's an output speed shaft sensor. So that's a whole separate issue. This is for the ABS and the brakes and stuff. The wheel spins around here and it senses that.
I was like, speed sensor. Oh, that makes sense.
So,
but that's probably why too. My ABS like keeps coming on and off sometimes.
well, this whole thing just because when it's not straight on there and it's crooked, it's sending a whole bunch of extra vibrations and crap into it, and it's also not reading it right. So it'll give you a whole bunch of issues.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, pop that end cap off, put this in there, and then open it like a pop can, and then wipe the lid just right in there.
Wow. And then what is that?
It's grease gun.
Oh, that's what. That's where you squirt it.
Yep, so
Oh, you got it's battery power.
Yep.
Oh, Stella? No.
Oh, she's just curious.
She doesn't like the vacuum or anything.
So this is a grease gun. Normally this will go on all your fittings and everything down here, but we can just squirt grease straight out of here and pack bearings. So,
Are you gonna pack her?
Stella, do you want to not attack this grease gun, please? Every time I click it, she wants to bite it.
She's like, what is that sound?
There we go. Now we're starting to get grease. But this is still old grease from the old tube.
Oh, that's still the old one.
It's not bad grease, it's just the other grease.
It's just grease.
Yeah. The new grease is more of a greenish color. So we're basically just pushing grease into the bearing while spinning it around. And we just want to pack the whole thing just full of grease. Squirt a buttload of grease into here before we actually put it on and before we put the other one. Like, we're just going to fill it. Like, it's going to be greased.
I bet it's gonna drive so much better after we do this.
That'll help with fuel mileage.
Grease it before you put it in so it's not...
Lube it before you put it in there?
Yep. So it goes in nice and smooth and...
You got experience doing that.
Oh, you could say that. Alright. Now... Usually I like to use like a 2x4 or something on this.
On the battery's crazy, right? Milwaukee tough, am I right?
That's right.
Almost done.
Yeah, I just got that little bit to go.
Damn. Oh yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Battery's dead, but it'll still work, guarantee it. 100% guarantee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Alright. There we are. That is seated. So now we're going to... This thing's really clean, but you want to double check and make sure that this thing is still super clean, which it is, so we're fine. Remember how that seal looked before?
Yeah.
Now we actually got a nice...
Wasn't there grease all over that?
Yeah, because the seal was broken, so the grease was just coming out over everything.
Yeah, it was so dirty.
Yep.
Instead of stripping, somebody would call the cops, and she would
Shit.
definitely get indecency charges.
And the cops would take their time arresting her and dealing with her.
Yeah.
And even if she got charges, they'd get dropped down to disorderly. She'd get a $200 fine.
Yeah.
Go do it again next
Do
time.
we need to do an experiment?
Go ahead. Nobody's stopping.
Now you'll know what to do if the other side goes out.
Yeah. I'll be ready.
Yes.
And that's so much nicer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, big glob's about to fall. Oh.
These are $100+ dress shoes I bought for a wedding.
And now they're good work shoes.
Yep. I just haven't stopped wearing them, I guess. I'm not gonna waste the grease. I'm just gonna put it right back in. Alright. Was this not recording the whole time?
Was it not?
I think it might have
Died.
shut off at some time.
Dang.
Dang it.
Do you want to drive it? Or
No, you can drive it.
Alright.
You know what it feels like. Alright. Wheel bearing done. Brakes are done.
Nate came in clutch. He's a lifesaver.
We'll take it for a test spin while I clean up the crap.
It doesn't do it anymore. You fixed it, bro.
It doesn't do what?
It doesn't, like, the brakes don't.
The brakes don't do the ABS shuddery thing?
No.
And then does it move?
Yeah,
like,
it moves so much.
No, but does it when you hit the brakes? Does it go left or right, or is it still?
It when I brake, it goes straight.
So now it's all good.
Yeah, it's completely fixed, bro.
Sweet.
It feels so good too.
Excellent.
Dude,
Excellent.
thank you so much, bro.
All right. Hopefully, one step closer to making it to Alaska.
Bro, it feels so good to drive it now.
Now
And
you're
like, when I brake, it doesn't do that anymore.
Now you're not worried about it falling apart.
No, man.
That's your wheel lock key there, and then I think most of the rest of this crap is mine.
Alright. Dude, give me a hug.
Okay. All right. Love you too.
So it's okay. Don't be jealous. Oh, dude, that's so hype, bro.
Alright. So just check your lug nuts after like 50 to 100 miles. Make sure they don't, settle and come loose or anything. Then should be about it. Alright. Paper towel?
Yeah, I'm so glad they don't like crunch anymore like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was pressing it hard too. I was slamming on my brakes.
Oh
So
gosh.
you were trying to get it to crunch?
Yeah, and it was fine. So yeah,
Wonderful.
I think that was definitely the problem.
Okay. Oh, in my tow truck I have that that bottle of injector cleaner stuff. So while I'm thinking about it. So just put that. You just put it in your gas tank. How much gas do you have right now? What's your
I just filled up
full?
I think yesterday.
Yesterday?
I might actually have.
Okay.
I might.
No, that's fine then, because this treats up to 25 gallons.
Yeah, I have 75 or something.
So yeah, just throw the whole thing in there.
Right now.
Yeah. And it might smoke for a little bit, as it burns it off, but it's not gonna damage anything. It'll help you.
No, I just.
But yeah, the whole thing, just dump it in there.
Thank you.
Said thanks.
Oh yeah, no problem.
How does this stuff do that though?
It's just a chemicals that in there that like eat away at deposits and get everything lubed and working again.
It's pretty cool.
I think you should be good now.
Let's go.
So we got 95% of your engine running right. There's just a tiny little bit of a misfire because I think that's probably got to be mechanical issues from 20,000 miles between oil changes.
Yeah, that's definitely my fault.
And then the brakes and the bearing, and then what we do, the injector, the coil pack, this, that, and everything else.
Yeah, this thing's ready.
So,
It's definitely ready.
yeah, you're good now.
I would have not made it.
No, you would not have made it. I know that.
Gosh. That was
The wheel would have fell off.
It would have quit at the absolute worst time. gotten you stuck somewhere you do not want to be
I
stuck.
can only imagine that
In the middle
drive.
of North Dakota.
And even if it wasn't North Dakota, like imagine if I was like in the middle of nowhere, Canada.
Yeah, and you had no food, no water.
Yeah.
You're just stranded. No cell service.
That would have been bad.
You just gotta wait and hope somebody comes by in the next 3 days.
Yeah.